Give me a second while I tweak this, whatever the fuck is going on here. I look crazy as cat shit. So, I don't know what that was. That's very, very peculiar. Anyway, how are you all doing this evening? I know the music is probably going, I don't know, but let me figure out why I look extremely weird on stream this evening. Yeah, pardon me, I don't know what the fuck. Same, I don't want to change shit up too much. Pardon me, I apologize for the delay here, but I guess something is adjusted. I must have moved something around. I don't recall but it's got it looking real crazy here. That should be kosher. Got me looking real janky. Eventually we're going to talk about something. I don't know why it is, I'm so faded looking. So fucked up. Let's see. Back to defaults here. Let's try this. Still got me looking weird here. So yeah, just don't mind me. I'm doing weird shit in the background. Trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And this is the greatest stream ever, right? So I know all of you are really enjoying this. It almost look like something. Let me look here. This is as good as we get without it still looks amazing, but let's get this party started. So, all right, apologize for that. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. Like I said, the color still seems off. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna rock with it. Welcome to the Den, man. If you're not familiar with the Den is the best conversation on the internet. If you wonder why it's the best conversation on the internet, it's because of all of you wonderful people who come in each and every night and make this such an excellent conversation. I appreciate you for being here. I thank you. I am your host, Ed Honcho, and again, it is my honor, my privilege, and most of all, my pleasure to be here with you guys to have this conversation. So I thank you. I thank you so much. Tonight we're going to talk about manhood. Hopefully the lines are working. Everything should be. After the stream, I was testing out. It was working fine yesterday, and so I know some of you said you wanted to kind of call in and talk about what was going on. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, let me see what we got going on here. Pardon me, right? Now that all looks crazy. If it ain't one thing, it's another player. Let's see. That could be the case. It could be the camera was looking crazy. Let's see how this looks. All that artifacts and bullshit out the way. Do we look normal? Yeah, I'm still a little shiny, but it is what it is. So Snapchat, no way, Jose. But let's see what we got joined us, man. I got everybody who I have for the. Did I give out pistachios yesterday? I don't recall if I didn't. I still got my list. Usually I mark my list out, so I might not have yesterday. But I got 335 in the building. Ronald Isaac Coltrane, John from New York, Miss Bell, D. the Guillermo, Rashida, K. Grace, M. Grace, Sweetberry 32. I don't know how Sweetberry. She always manages to get in and get them pistachios. Jen Smith, Just Sarah, Only One Lie. I have all of you for early bird pistachios, and I appreciate it. Getting in here early and getting the conversation started. Also, I have.
Sticky Northside donated $5 through Super Chat. Best YouTuber out here.
Oh man.
Bicep. Flexed bicep.
I appreciate the love, Mr. Sticky Northside. Good to see you, man. I hope all is going well, man. And just I hope the new year is treating you a bit better. But I appreciate that too. I'm on a mission to be the best. Like I said, I got to take care of some things, but trust me, when everything is said and done, I'm going all in. I'm in there like booty hair. Big Neff, Miss Brenda, what's the motherfucking deal? Wise, what's the motherfucking deal? Beyond a funny nigga, what's the motherfucking deal? Tracy McFly, Solis, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Who else? Alicia Moore, what's the motherfucking deal? Glad you could join us this evening. Let's see. Heidi. Yeah, I wanted to be heard. I just was trying to tinker with the stuff in the background so y'all knew it was here because y'all been Honcho late again. Y'all know how y'all like to do me, but it's all good. Trey James, what's the motherfucking deal, man? Let's see. Let me see.
Colton donated $1. A kettle fish crew. What it do?
So that's a whole nother kettle of fish. Eastside Hero, what's the motherfucking deal? Orlando Brown. Which Orlando Brown? There's so many Orlando Browns in the world. Be for real. Broderick in the building. What's the motherfucking Broderick gonna sing the ladies all the song. So I hope y'all are ready for that. But we will do karaoke tonight tomorrow. So again, I hope y'all are ready for that. Again, it should be fun. Professor Trio, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. Let me see. Make sure I ain't missing nobody. Kenneth Cologne, what's the motherfucking deal? Miss Thang, what's the motherfucking deal? And let's see. I'm always on time. Always on time. All right. Whenever it starts, is the time that it starts. But again, man, like I said, so there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to get into, man. We're going to talk about manhood today. And what is manhood? You know, yes, last week we talked about the lady folks, and we, you know, it was a very interesting conversation. A lot of different views, and I think a lot of different perspectives depending on, I would say, maybe what generation or you came from. I don't know necessarily if it's part of the country has anything to do with that, but just kind of like with the ladies, I came up with a few words that, you know, I think that being a man or manhood defines that, and I'm sure there's plenty more. And I'd like to know your thoughts on that too. But I think what does manhood mean? What does being a man mean? I mean, I think it means, and you could probably correlate manhood with kind of husband and stuff, however you want to play with it. But this is how I look at it. Protector, provider, a leader, an instructor, a conqueror, a procreator, a father, and a dominant figure. You know, and I think these are the things that go into the idea or what should be a man, and depending on what you have going on. Fresh and sassy. How are you this evening, ma'am? Speaking of some of the great calls we were talking about, women, Miss Fresh and Sassy had a wonderful call. And so East Coast serve ketchup and hamburger meat called that's terrible. So I think these are all keys. I think these are all things that go into being a man, and I think that you know, oh, stop the nonsense, Ronald. And I agree, not all of them do, but that's why I say all those other things go into it. All of those other factors go into it. And if you don't want to have any, I mean, that's fine. But I think that you still should be a leader. You still should be a representative for other young men who may be looking up to you or whatever else it may be. So that's kind of my thing. What are you talking about, Heidi? And so, you know, I think that the standard of what is expected out of men, what is expected out of what should be manhood, and all of these things has changed over time. You know what I'm saying? I think it has changed in modern days because of, you can call it society, you can call it for the lack of interaction or whatever it is. I think I don't think that the base definition of manhood has changed. I think that people are trying to change it, but I don't think that equals what it is. You have a lot of men nowadays that are, you know, quote unquote, embracing their feminine side. And I'm not saying that, you know, men don't have emotions and things to deal with, but I think it's a different way that you go about handling that. And again, you say, well, society's always told men to suppress these things and all that, and it causes issues. And maybe not. I think there are times and places where you have those things. And I think, but what we've gotten away from is, and it's gotten weird because I already know how y'all are in the den folk, but I think men have become isolated. Like, they don't rely, they don't, men don't hold other men to a certain standard anymore. You know what I'm saying? And and they don't hold other men to a certain standard anymore. And again, it's deteriorated. Professor Trill shared a picture last night, I believe. Was it? Might have been last night, might have been the night before. Great picture. It was talking about when you take the father out of the home and how the young men started dressing. And so the man is not there. And that's what I mean by being an instructor and a teacher, you know, to teach other young men a standard, a work ethic, things of that nature that is very important to society. And so, and again, a lot of these young men, I don't know, you can't blame them. They didn't ask to be born, but a lot of them are getting raised by women, so they don't have that same level of instruction. And so, and I'm not saying a woman can't raise a man, but I generally feel that there has to be another male figure in that child's life, a coach, like I say, maybe a teacher. It could be somebody they look up to. I find it unfortunate that so many look up to athletes and things like that. It is what it is, or these rappers or whatever, and then they start going down these other paths. But I think that there has to be, you know, it could be an uncle, it could be a grandpa, whatever it may be. But I think there has to be a male figure in that young man's life to teach them certain things that otherwise they may miss out on, and then it becomes something else. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and certain people, we've had this conversation in prior before. People say, oh, well, and again, this is not a knock on single mothers or anything like that, because you say, hey, you know what, I raised it, and I agree. And there are some women who do a very damn good job, but I still believe that there's always some type of male figurehead. There's some type of male role model that plays, a part in their lives and helping them, overcome certain things. Because women are more likely to nurture the man. Oh, don't worry, it's okay, that's my baby, whatever it is, as opposed to pushing them and driving them. There are some women who will push them, who will motivate them, who will say, hey, you know what, man up and, do this, that, and the third. We have a lot, though, in certain communities who tell them to man up in the wrong ways. Man up, get out there, go sell that dope. You're head of household when they're still children. Like, that's why I think a father figure needs to be present, because I don't think a child, especially a teenager, should ever be told, he's head of the household or he's the man of the house. Because he has to learn, grow, and develop, and become head of his own household. He shouldn't be the head of a household that he didn't create. If he didn't ask to be that, if he was born into this household, it's not his responsibility to be the man of that house. So that's kind of my thing with that. You know what I'm saying? So bot broken. Let me put the bot on. I apologize. I guess if I want to give y'all pistachios, the bot has to definitely be on. Lady Licious, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you this evening? And so, again, like I say, my thing is, of all of these things that take place, of all of these things that are going on, that figurehead has to be present. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's extremely important. So aside from that, a couple of things that I want to discuss tonight. Like I said, I'm trying to get into it quickly because I know I had a delay early on in the stream that took up a significant amount of time. So to get to my point is, what I want to talk about tonight is, what is your idea of what manhood is? How has manhood been changed in the media? We could go back to that Gillette commercial. We could go back and talk about other things that have happened that have altered or tried to alter the perception. And we can talk about other things that are going on too. We can talk about, how feminism has impacted certain things. Also, I saw a very funny picture. It was a bunch of men on a bus or a subway or something like that, and they're all sitting down, and it's one woman, and she's standing up, and she's holding the pole, right? That's kind of where feminism gets you, right? So, it is what it is. So, my thing is that, and I'm not saying she was a feminist or anything like that, but if you're talking about you want all the same equalities, well, those are the benefits you no longer get to attain when you want to put things on an equal playing field. So, yeah, shout out to Miss Jess. Did I not call you out just here? My bad if I did. But here's my thing. So, that's kind of the point I want to get to today. Like I said, we're going to open up the lines here. We're going to get some good calls. And like I say, some of those of you who, be dancing on the pole. Some of y'all who said you had some, that you were trying to get in yesterday and, comment on things, you can do that also. Because I know the lines were being a little bit questionable yesterday. So we'll get all that done. We'll get all that in. And we'll go from there. So give me just a moment. Like I say, we'll get the line together, and then I will issue out pistachios to those of you who were early birdies. And everybody else, well, get here early. Y'all know we start at 9. even though I get there a little, sometimes it's a little closer to 9 than it should be. But, hey, we're going to get the party started. All right, everything else looks good, man. Everything else looks copacetic. Everything else looks like we are ready to roll. Let's get some calls in here. Shout out to Coach and Sticky Northside. Appreciate the love, getting the stream started. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we have calling into the den this evening?
Well, I'm finally back on first.
They've claimed her rightful spot on the throne. Miss Bell, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Now that we're back to being normal, I guess, whatever the hell that is.
Is normal really a thing in the den? I don't know if any of us are normal, but we're as close to normal as we can be.
Normal is subjective.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with manhood. To me, it's owning up, stepping up, knowing that you're a role model, knowing that your choices mean something,
Mm-hmm.
and taking the responsibility that goes with it. I suppose it can apply to womanhood too, but it's just the fact of to know better is to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And gave an example about the commercial. What was that? Because I've seen a couple of them with the shaving aspect.
Yes, the weird commercial. What was the one where they were telling? It was like a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. Be better men, or something like that with Gillette, and they were just talking about stopping little boys from fighting, and the guy who was trying to talk to the woman on the street, the other guy just interrupts him and then cuts him off like, no, don't do that, it's not cool. Or the guy talking to the chicks at the pool, and some other things that were going on. I don't remember the whole thing right now, but yeah, that's the one.
Oh, well, I saw one that a father was teaching a daughter how to shave her legs, and I thought it was really cool because there was no mom. And that's a man, to me, that's manhood. He's stepping up and doing a job that needs to be done. It's doing what it takes in order to get to the next level of life. And I could be wrong about that, but, when we become in adulthood, is that we become role models. So.
Well, fooling me, she'd have been a little hairy leg sucker. But, I guess that works. I mean, that's the thing that you have to deal with in life and that you have to teach. And, so I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I had a conversation with my daughter not long ago, and she said to me, because I said something about white culture, and she said, Mom, there is no white culture. And I was like, well, that's interesting. She says, no, there's ethnicity. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, well, there's Italian, Polish, Spanish, French. She said, but as far as white culture goes, there really is no such thing as white culture. And I went, oh, okay. So I thought that was interesting. And didn't have a chance to look up the word culture and what it meant through different aspects of it, but I wanted to just bring that to the table. I thought that was interesting.
I mean, that is interesting because, again, like I say, you do have so many different groups within, what you would label white, that they have their own customs and ways of life. I could agree with that. I don't think it's a one across the board thing.
Yeah. I mean, even as white as I am, I'm still mixed with other things. So I don't think anybody's actually completely pure. And back in the day, they didn't want people to be completely pure because that would have been inbreeding.
Disgusting.
So, well, hey, I mean, it happens, but even among the royalty, that they wanted to keep the blue blood line pure, but after a while, lines become muted, and that's just gross.
That's very nasty.
Yep. That's pretty much all I've got tonight. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am. I don't think that I do.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And y'all have a good night.
All right, Miss Bell. Well, like I say, class is in session. The bell has rung. Back at the number one pole position. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Miss Bell.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good evening. All right. Very interesting. Give me just a moment. I'm trying to get all of these. Almost done. All right. Bad Bougie, what's the motherfucking deal? How are you this evening? All right, excellent. Miss Cartier, how are you this evening? C. Benjola, what's the motherfucking deal? Eastside Hero, what's the motherfucking deal? Anyone else that I may have else? Did I? Is it that loud? I guess I gotta. Maybe I'll mute myself or something when maybe I mute myself when I type in the early birdies. Heidi, Heidi, you just get a hello. Hello, Heidi. You know, I don't know how what's the motherfucking deal translates into German. Oh man, I'm very shiny. It's fucking with me, but okay, okay. Giggity, giggity, clack. So here's my thing, though, right? Here's my thing. Again, and I agree. You know, responsibility taken and knowing that your choices mean something. And I do agree with that. And I do agree with that. That you have to free up. I do believe that it is important because I think, especially if you're the man, you're supposed to be the head of the household. That your choices impact your entire household, and that's not to say that women don't either. But let's say you are the sole provider or whatever it may be, then the choices you make can have a significant impact on. Excuse me. Pardon me. You know, play as Jan. So I think that can have an outcome. And again, it's not just about the financial things. It could be, just, I mean, all types of decisions. And again, as far as, it was funny because like I said, I talked to me and my madre every now and then. And like I said, she's about to get married. And, we were just talking about some things. We were talking about the word submission and obedience. And I shared with her, like I said, I talk about mom every couple of days or so just to check up on her. And, I'll tell her about the conversation that we have in the den. And I told her about the conversation with the women folk and how terms like submission and obedience are bad words. I mean, you probably do better calling a woman in America these days a bitch than you would trying to tell her to be submissive or to be obedient. And you probably get a better response, because it's like, and again, I think submission is not a bad word. And you say, well, Honcho, because you're not the one expected to be submissive. And I get it. But again, when we talk about when we talk about gender roles, we talk about these things.
Heidi Kleindienst donated $2 through Super Chat. Was this der Gottverdammt deal? # free Helga.
And so, like I say, we were just talking about it. And, so she was just talking about, because she has been, independent for so long, that, she was just talking about, how dealing with that's something that she would have to deal with because, it's a biblical thing. And so, she wants to make sure she lives right by the Bible. So, my thing is, I get it. But these days, again, the modern American woman does not want to do that. And so we kind of get to the conversation of why. Well, why is it that they don't? And again, if you're calling in, I'm not seeing any of the calls popping up, so you may have to hang up and call back if you are trying to call in. If not, well, shucks. I guess it helps, too, if I put the freaking number up here. So, and appreciate the love, Heidi. And so we were talking about that, and, like I say now, but I get it, especially if you grew up one without that father figure in the household, and you were raised by a mom. You saw your mom have to do, everything and take care of everything and handle everything, especially as a young woman, and you see that. And, we can get into that whole scenario. We can get into that whole slew of things and how that plays out. But, it's truly unfortunate because, again, if you've never seen it, you wouldn't understand it, and you wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to rock like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, especially what America tells you, hey, you're strong, you're independent, do your thing. Why would you ever want to submit? But if you have two people trying to be the dominant figure in a household, then that household is going to split. I mean, somebody has to kind of take a step back. And I'm not saying that women should be submissive to all men. I would never say that, like I say, but if you are with a particular man, I do believe that, kind of like Miss Fresh and Sassy said, allow him to be a man, especially when in public. You discuss whatever issues you have behind closed doors. I'm a firm believer in conversation and how important it is. But ultimately, I look at it like this: that went out in the forefront. Your man is going to be the representation or whatever else it is going to be, and if you are undermining him, well, pretty sure the rest of the world is going to undermine him also. Um, and again, that's what I think. And I get it. And like I said, I understand the whole not want to submit, but I think that's also a reason. But again, you have to be a man that's worthy of being submitted to. So I think that's a thing too. So you got to find the right man who's willing to be submitted to. You can't just submit to any man if he's not worth the fuck. And you submit him to him, then then both y'all just gonna be not worth the shit. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Good evening. This is Fresh and Sassy. How are you and everyone else?
Miss Fresh and Sassy, I'm doing excellent. How are you this evening?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Excellent.
All
excellent.
right, so let's just get to it.
Okay.
I am, I guess you could say, probably from a different generation than most of your audience. So I'm just asking that you all please allow me to have my opinion just as you all have yours. But I was raised in a different time. I am 57 years here as of January 1st. And first of all, first and foremost, in order to be a man, you must have a penis and a set of balls.
Yes.
Okay? Let's just establish that. If you don't have that, you're not a man.
Correct.
Okay? Now I know we can say, well, that's a male. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's a man. We can chop up semantics and all of that stuff, but you first have to have those three components. Okay? And when you were talking about earlier about the commercial, I haven't seen any of these commercials, by the way, but you were talking about the commercial where the man was showing the young lady showing his daughter how to shave her legs or something like that. We have allowed ourselves to become a part of a narrative which is nothing but an attempt to effeminate our entire race of black men. Too many of us are buying into this narrative that this is okay. It's okay for me to be a male and be seeking the company or lying with another man, as the Bible says, lying with another man the way that you would lay with a woman, and vice versa. And that's not acceptable, okay? But when you were talking about this man showing his young daughter how to shave her legs, again, I think you even said she'd have been a hairy somebody.
Yes.
But, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that teach you any and everything you need to know. Look, take that young lady down to the church, get one of the big aunties, big mama, big somebody to show this young lady how to take care of her person. Because daddy don't do that, all right? That's not daddy's place. That's not daddy's position. Okay, so there's not a mother in the home. Okay, well, like I say, you get one of the big mamas from church, one of the big aunties from church. Take this young lady in for the weekend, spend some time with her, mentor her, nurture her, and all of that. But that is not dad's position. He's to see to it that she learns these things. But him sitting up there with his legs up on the back of the bathtub, shaving his legs, trying to show her, no. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but that's such a beautiful picture. Oh, that's so nice, Dad. And now you got all these dads now that are showing up at their daughters' ballet classes, and they're doing ballet with their daughters. This is foolishness, and too many people are buying into it. It's flat out wrong. And I'm going to tell you, some of you are going to look around one day, you're going to wake up and say, how in the heck did I get here? This is not where I'm supposed to be. And the lines are being blurred. And, it's just a little bit at a time. Give him a little bit here. Give him a little bit more. And the next thing you know, this man has become an effeminate woman. Okay? Or that might be a double entendre. But anyway, all of a sudden now, this man has become a woman. Or he's he's you know, got these feminine characteristics. But you know, I know there's a lot to being a man. It's being the head of household. It's being the leadership. It's there's a lot of roles that men play when it comes to being a man. I get it and I understand, but again, we're being fed a little bit at a time, to get the man, especially the black man, out of the home. Not to be there to raise his boys and teach them how to, you know, be men and how to take care of a woman and how to treat a woman, how to go out and be persevering and be out here in the workforce. And, you know, no matter what keeps knocking you down, you just keep grabbing yourself up by your bootstraps and you keep getting up each and every day, you know, doing what you're supposed to do as a leader, as a man, okay? And when I think of a man, I think of a leader, someone who is going to lead me, okay? I may sound like, oh, she's old-fashioned, she's from that old generation, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of you are headed in the wrong direction if you don't think this is the way to go. The man is the head. He is the provider, the breadwinner, and you know he's the decision maker for the family. And like you said, we can have conversations, but we do that in private. We don't embarrass our men out in public. We don't talk to our men crazy in public. We don't put our hands on our men. We don't push our men. We don't hit our men. We don't disrespect our men. And knowing that we have a good man, we know that he won't disrespect us and that he wouldn't do anything that would hurt us as a unit or wouldn't do anything to hurt us individually, whether it's hurting himself or hurting the woman that he's in a relationship with. So, you know, the lines have to be clearly defined as to who's who and who's supposed to be doing what, okay? You cannot be a man with a vagina, all right? You cannot be a man and be asking, can you borrow my lip gloss? I mean, you cannot be a man and asking me, can you borrow my lip gloss, okay? The lines of manhood and womanhood need to be clearly defined, and a man is the leader, he is the breadwinner, he's the decision maker, and he is the one who raises the young boys to be men. That is their role. That's their position. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Well, I cannot dispute or disagree with anything you said, Ms. Fresh and Sassy.
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, another great call. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You all have a good evening.
All right. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I agree with that. I agree with it. And cause something else, and I see some of you saying, well, I wouldn't want to submit to a man. I wouldn't want to do this or do that. So if that's the case and say it's the middle of the night and that door gets kicked in, who's going to check the noise? Or you hear a bump in the night, who's going to check that? I'd like to know. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
Man, it's Eastside Harold, man. This is my first time talking to you.
Man, Eastside Harold, what's the motherfucking deal? Good to hear from you, man. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, man, you was bringing up manhood, and I wanted to speak about Antonio Bryant. Antonio, man, I'm not taking up for him, but it really seemed like they're trying to demonize the man. And I don't know if you got kids, but who has not cussed at their baby mama? Man, she was trying to take the man's business. Now, just because you the baby mama don't mean I gotta let you take my car.
Correct.
I don't know. I kind of sympathize. I don't agree with everything AED's done, but when it comes to that baby mama, man, I've cussed at my baby mama and she's cussed at me before, and they just trying to demonize the man. It's like they trying to turn to Bill Cosby or somebody.
Yeah,
it's like, God damn, man, you can't relate to that. It's luckily the police is dead. He could have been beating her ass. Then she'd be in real trouble.
Yeah. My thing with that, my whole thing with AB is like, hey, whatever the situation was with that, just don't put everything on social media. Like, that's my issue with AB, especially as a man trying to get back in the league or whatever. So it's like you airing yourself out and you making shit tougher on yourself. Whatever situation you got going on, either recorded or whatever, but don't air all your shit out live to the entire world. That's my fault with AB. I understand that there's going to be issues in the relationship. I'd have an issue though with just, again, like I said, I don't know that whole situation, but just putting my kids in the back of a cop car, regardless if they ain't do anything or whatever. It's just that was the toughest thing that I saw with that. Like, you telling your kids you love them now, not go get in the back of that cop car. But other than that, like I say, I don't know the whole situation, but he should have kept that shit off the fucking internet. Like, that's my, with that particular situation with AB, to me that'd have been the smartest thing that he could have done is leave that shit alone, handle your business, get the people off your property, get the baby mama off your property, and just go about your business. But you airing it out, that's what makes him look bad, is because he put himself out there like that.
Yeah, supposedly he got 3 with her, but she got some other kids. She got like, it ain't like this her first rodeo. She got like 2 or 3 other kids by somebody else, and that be an issue too. It's like, you want me to take care of my kids and do extra for somebody else's kids? Nah, it don't work like that. I mean, he assumed that responsibility, but when he trying to hang it up, he's like, nah, man, I can't keep doing extra. I can do what I got covered. But nah, she's been around. She got the mileage.
Okay, so I got that's a great question, because we had a question, I want to say it was a while back, and I would like to know your thoughts about it. And it was something pertaining to a chick saying that because she had kids with, say, 2 or 3 different dudes, or maybe 2 different dudes or whatever, and the dude, one of them is a deadbeat and one of them is handling his business. Should the kids of the deadbeat benefit from the guy that's handling his business, or should he have to take care of them too, or should his money that he's paying in child support or whatever go to those kids too, or should it be solely focused on his child? What do you think about that?
Shit, man, that's a very interesting question, man. Now, I'm gonna handle my kids, but I'm not gonna be mean to the other kids. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna be respectful. But hey, man, I only go so far. I might get those kids a Christmas present, just to give them pajamas or something. But man, you know what I'm saying? I might give them a ride here and there. But I'm gonna take care of mine. But nah, don't be expecting me to do extra. Don't expect me to do for my kids what I gotta do for the other kids. I might do it every now and again, blue moon. But nah, don't be looking for that and expecting that. Okay. No, not at all.
Okay.
Man, you got to excuse my voice, man. I caught that flu, man, and I was fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
Really fucked up. Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting over it.
I'm trying to keep my voice back.
Okay. As long as you're getting over it, man, that's all that matters. Other than that, you're good, man. You're good. Don't even worry about all that. Okay, but man,
man, Honcho, man, I've been trying to get in contact with you for years, man. I call it sauce. And that don't never work, man. I think I'd be the first caller. It'd be like a whole line. But I be coming over here to the den every blue moon, and I be wanting to speak on shit. But I ain't no regular. So I be like, I be kind of funny. I don't be knowing the topics, but I come in and they be like, man, it should be interesting. But I ain't just no regular den member,
Yeah.
but I come in here now and again, and I recognize some of the people.
Oh yeah, once you in, man, you in the den, man. You good in my book. Like I say, man, look, don't even worry about it. Feel free to call anytime you got a thought, even if it ain't necessarily pertaining to the topic, man. If it's something you just want to speak on, you know, something you want to chime in on, something that may be going on around the world or whatever it may be, feel free to call in, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm glad I finally got to speak with you, man. Man, you need to get some big boy sizes in your merch, bro.
Okay.
They be holding me back, bro.
Okay.
Me having that merch, but shit, man, the 2X ain't gonna do it, man. I'm like a 4 and a 5, bro.
Okay. I'll look into that because I know I got a couple other folks who request some larger sizes too, so I'll definitely look into that.
All right, brother.
All right, Eastside, man. I appreciate you calling in, man. First time calling. I know you've been a long time listener, so man, that's what's up.
It's a little bit.
All right. Okay. That's what's happening, man. That's I want to know y'all's thoughts on that. One of the most lethal gangs. Yeah, the den is the right under MS-13, but we're working hard to get there. Well, my thing is this, right? And I'd like to know your thoughts. And I know some of y'all probably answered it before, but I want to say maybe it might have been a video that was posted in the Den Facebook group too. But you know, is a man less than a man? Say if he has, again, like I said, kids with a woman, and she has multiple kids from, you know, maybe different men. Is he less than a man if he is only concerned about his child? Like, should he really be concerned about? Because I've seen women say, well, you know, if he knew beforehand, then you know he should take care of all them kids, or if he was fucking with her beforehand, whatever. Then like and then I've seen some people say, no, that's not his responsibility. Like his kids shouldn't be lacking if he's paying support because the other kids, you know, dads aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So, you know, I'd like to know your thoughts on that also. But again, I agree with what Miss Fresh and Sassy said. Like I say, you know, that we have to have standards. And again, I think that to use the submissive or the obedient or whatever word you want to use, I don't think that's a negative. And I think people hear those things and they automatically think it's a negative term. But but it's not. I don't think it is at all. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
You know it's going to be pretty good if I have to call back twice in one night.
Okay. Well, what's on your mind, Miss Bell?
Okay, a couple of things. I agree with a lot of what Fresh and Sassy said.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of, I wouldn't say disagree, but where I tend to differ is the fact that I'm not much younger than she is. I'm probably about 6 years younger than she is. So we're still in the same generation. And I do believe the man's the head of the household. But something that you had said, too, about ready-made families.
Mm-hmm.
I came into a situation, and my husband had a ready-made family beforehand. And that's part of being a man, is that making sure that you're supporting whatever family, whether it's a first family, second family, third family, whatever children you have. That's part of, you want to be the head of the house. That's taking responsibility for all. And if you come in and you decide to have a relationship with a woman and she's got children from a previous, well, you're the head of the castle, so that's part of the package. You know, just like it was, you know, for me to have to deal with the fact that he was a pretty, you know, pre-made family. And anybody who's been in long-term relationships, you never win all the arguments on either side. Relationships are nothing but compromise, whether it's a marital relationship, whether it's a business relationship. You know, we talk about manhood, and we'll even throw womanhood in there. A lot of times that I have, as my mother would say, pick your battles. Sometimes you step back from something, and it's not whether the other person takes a win and you take a loss. It's the fact that you step back in order for things to work themselves out. And I completely agree with you. When you're in public, you're a united front. And adult relationships should be handled in private. And there are things that children don't need to know about their parents' relationships. And I think this is somewhere where a lot of the lines get crossed, is when parents allow their children to get into adult situations when that doesn't need to be. That's a boundary that doesn't ever really get talked about. As adults, we need to define that, and I know that there's a lot of people in the den that have really good structure, but I do find that, and I see that out when young kids get in their parents' business and have no reason to. And just like you said, my husband's passed. I've never expected my son to be the man of the house. My son's expected to be the 22-year-old kid that he is and do what he's supposed to do. And I represent as a widow and as a single parent. As far as manhood goes, it's just being responsible. It's being accountable. It's being present when you're supposed to be there. Whether you're in a relationship or not, whether you have a baby mama or several baby mamas, it's owning up to your responsibilities and accountabilities. I don't have any issue with gay, straight, bi, whatever. Relationships are relationships. I happen to just be straight, and that's who I am. But I don't pass judgment on anybody else making their own life choices. And that's kind of all I've got.
So do you think it's different what if it's a situation that wasn't necessarily a relationship? What if it was some old friends with benefits, one night stand type of situation gone awry, and so it wasn't really that level of commitment there? Should they still be concerned with the other children?
What do you mean?
So we're talking about, like, as far as a man dealing with the other kids that were already previously in a relationship. So if a woman that already has kids and somehow say they have a little fling or something like that, should he still be?
No, I think that it depends on the relationship and the depth of the relationship with the mother of the children as much as how they commit to the children. As a widow, I wouldn't bring somebody around my kids immediately. I would wait until there was a connection, until it was serious, before I expose my children, even though they're still grown.
That makes sense. Try to fix this camera. It's so fucking shiny. It's bothering me. Okay, that makes sense.
I think that, and that's the thing, though, is that if you're not tricksing a man through your house every week and you're waiting until that something serious comes along, then that means they'll take the relationship with the children seriously, too, because you don't expose children to something unless you know that it's going to be there for a while or forever, or that's just my point of view. And it's no judgment on anybody else, but it's just the way I was raised. And I think that's the tradition that I grew up with, and so that's the one that I am teaching my children, is to be respectful that way.
All right.
I do want to say this, though, as a very traditional woman that I am, yes, I can sew, I can cook, I can bake, whatever. Do I like the fact that a man will change a tire for me? Absolutely. Can I do it myself? Yeah, and I can also call AAA. Do I like, you ask the question, if something happens and the front door gets knocked in, who's going to take it? Well, it just depends on who grabs whatever it is first. I mean, I think part of it today is that it's not that we want to rely on a man, it's just the fact that we need to know that we can get treated as an equal. It doesn't mean that we always have to be number one in the relationship. It just means that it's a partnership. And I think that seems to get forgotten, is that, yeah, the man's the head of the house, but if he's not doing the right thing by the woman, then that's where it really needs to be a question of the relationship, not where the partnership is. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, if you've got a guy that's out, either doing drugs, or stealing, or gambling, and he's not treating his family as though they're number one, then why should he be named head of the household if he's not representing like that? However, if he's stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing by the kids and the family and the wife, and yeah, then he, that's something that a traditional couple will choose to do. And that's pretty much all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling back in, and clarifying your thoughts on some of those things, Ms. Bell.
All right.
All right.
Night.
Good evening. Good evening. Man, Professor Trill sent me something, and when we get a little laughs in the calls, I'm gonna share it. It's terrible. But again, this is what I mean by, and women think that we're attacking them, but we're not. When we say this is the way that the modern woman thinks, you see why red pill, MGTOW, and all these things exist. And I can understand why guys don't want to deal with it. But what's the motherfucker deal who we got calling into the den this evening?
Hey, Honcho, it's Misty.
How you doing, Mr. Dream Barbie? How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. I miss Trey, but I'm doing good. And I got to let you guys see him in his little suit. He looks like a baby in a Navy outfit, doesn't he?
Baby in the Navy.
Well, he's this guy. He's like one of the ladies said in there. I forgot who said that. Said he has a baby face. He does. He just looks so young, but he's doing good. But anyway, I kind of wanted to say I was gonna try to call last night, but I couldn't really get through. And then of course the phone thing was all messed up. But I'm in agreement with. I wanted to mention something from last night. I'm in agreement with Solis. I think if I said it correctly. Solis was trying to say this stuff, and John wouldn't really let him say it. But I've heard Solis talk, and I know that people talk about things that happen in their life, and that's what John was throwing up, at him and everything. And John has very valid points. I mean, there's some really wonderful things that, that he had to say, but I really, I have to disagree with, some of the things that he was saying as far as, saying there wasn't really a culture because, I know down here, I live in Alabama, you live over in Texas, but, I mean, there are certain things that certain black folks do down this way, that are certain things with family and, Southern foods. And, I mean, there are certain cultures. So, I don't, and I don't mean any disrespectful thing or anything, but I think there are certain things. But now I think it's getting tied down to more to individual family culture, if that makes any sense. And then there's so many things that all of us, as different families or whatever used to get together, like the family reunion, things like that. See, the family is just kind of going away, apart or whatever. And, a lot of the stuff that culture is not really there. So, but there are, people do still remember back there. There's a lot of things that are culture. So, and I'm not talking about the rap music and all this stuff. I try to focus on the positive things, because that's where we should be working on, trying to teach our kids the positive things, And I will say this, and I don't care if John hears this. I don't know how old he is, Honcho, and I do understand that I'm on a different topic than what was last night, but this needs to be said to John. Okay, so Lee is 20 years old, and John probably sounds like he might be, I don't know, he just talked like he was talking like an intelligent person, but then he made himself not intelligent anymore when he got down on that level and started saying, well, you're just a half-mixed guy who's coming in here leaning toward your black side, and then you can't have this because of somebody didn't want to threesome, and you want to. Okay, but see, you said all these points that kind of make some of those, kind of made sense, and people were looking at you like, okay, yeah, you're kind of on track with some things that you're saying or whatever, or I don't know. I'm just saying that. And then he took a nosedive all the way down to hell and back and burned the shit out of his nose because he went right down to the level of, I'm going to be 20, so I'm not argue with you. Yeah. So he had no business business. And if I had got through last night, I would have told him that. He had no business saying anything about Solis or anything about, which I understand he didn't have anything bad to say about Mr. Vincent or anybody else in the chat room, because basically when you start arguing back and you start acting like you're less than Solis's age, then that's where, like, I kind of have the problem, because he did exactly what he was talking about other people doing. I mean, he went right down there at it, like, you know, I mean, like, he downed himself such to an immature level. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but he really went down there with it. And, you know, I mean, that's basically, I mean, he went right down, you know, he was talking about him so bad, but then, you know, John wasn't thinking. He was putting himself right on that same level as whatever he was calling Solis. And I don't think anything bad about that young man. I think he's a really good young man. And I think he had some very, very valid points, too, if John had just stopped and listened to him. But, I mean, John put himself on that level with him right there. That same level that I put myself on with Ashley, and Ashley put herself on with me, and we're both very intelligent women. He put himself down there. So he ain't got no business to be talking like he knows as much as anybody else does, because not really, because he just put himself, you know, right in that same dumbass, you know, when he was saying, if you would stop being such a dumbass to listen or whatever. No, John put himself right in the same pot of chili that they were all sitting in. So sometimes you need to think about, before you really start talking about other people, you need to wipe your own front door stuff, you know, and think about it, because honestly, he made himself look like a damn fool by putting himself on the same level as that young man.
Okay.
So that's just my opinion, and I know that, you know, I couldn't get through last night, but I mean, I don't, and again, I don't have anything against John, but that was just my take on on the way that I looked at that. Is I think that, you know, he just went straight down there. You know, he was trying to be like all whatever, you know, but no, he let him. He did exactly what I guess a 20-year-old would want you to do, or whatever, you know, put yourself down on that level, you know. I don't know. But I'm not going to take up any more time. I just wanted him to think. I mean, he needs to think, you know. He does have this kind of cocky sort of attitude, you know, and I don't think he wants to admit that. He tries to seem like he wants to be right about every single thing. John does. And I don't think that that some of the things that he says are completely right. Like I said, he has some valid points, but to go in on that young man like that, and then to put himself down on the same level, well, your girlfriend did this, well, my ass itched this way, well, mine did that. He's no more than, you know, just acting like a tattletale, like the same, you know, he put himself on that same level, immature as hell. And there's no other way you can put it, no other way that you can say it, John. That's exactly what you did to yourself. You put yourself on the same level that you were trying to say that that young man was on by going there with him. And I hope that you think about that the next time that you're talking to a 20-year-old, because you put yourself on that same level. You look like a dumb ass, and that's just my opinion. Okay, all right, Honcho, well, that was what I had to call in and say, because, I mean, you know, he really went there with it. And I don't care what he says. That's exactly what he did. And he does make himself seem very racist, and he does make himself, because of some of the words and things he says. You know, I know, you know, people play with me or whatever, but don't play with me too much, because, you know, because I just don't go there about, you know, certain things, you know. But some of the things that he does about KKK and Grand Wizards and all this stuff like that, I mean, sometimes he goes a little bit overboard. And, you know, he just, I don't know. I mean, like Kay Grace said, he's smart. He seems like he has it together, but then all the really great things that sounded like were coming out of his mouth went totally down into the dumpster and got flushed down the toilet when he got on the same level as, well, your girlfriend wouldn't give you a threesome, na na boo boo, na na boo boo. That's how it sounded to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Miss
Well, I'm
Misty,
gonna
Miss
let you
Misty,
go.
I got a quick question before you hang up. I just could we you briefly mentioned rap music. Have you ever listened to NWA?
Who?
Have you ever listened to NWA? Okay,
Because
just
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
okay. I'm just asking. Yeah, no particular reason. No. There's absolutely no real reason why I'm asking that. I'm just curious because you mentioned rap music earlier.
Oh, no, I haven't ever listened to. You said NWA?
Yes, NWA.
No. I listened to a whole bunch of other ones that you might not know. Like you, I like find some of the weird ones, some of the weird ones, and some of the like not weird ones, but some of the you call them kind of underground ones, and listen to them. Like I used to like Yellow Beezy before he came out with that song, and what's that other dude's name? Oh crap, I have to. YNB Maine or what I forgot. Anyway, just some different, just all kinds of different music,
Okay.
But no, I don't know anything about whoever that is or whatever. But it's probably some stupid joke that John's made up. But I really don't care. But
NWA was like a pioneering rap group. They definitely changed the game a lot. They made a movie about them and everything. It was a big success, straight out of Compton.
Honcho, I'm telling you though, listen to what I'm saying. That man last night, John, he sounded so dumb. After he had talked smart, he sounded so dumb. Going down on that level of, well, you didn't get a threesome, boo boo doo doo doo. I mean, that's how exactly it sounded. So, like, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, why didn't he just say, next person? Why is he gotta, talk like he's really smart and come up with some good points, and then all of a sudden all the good points go out the window because he acts like an idiot, like he's, in middle school, like, I'm going to tell the teacher you didn't get a threesome, ha 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 ha. I mean, that's how he sounded. Like he's probably a 40-something-year-old or 50-something-year-old man. I don't know. I don't know. It just sounded crazy talking to a 20-year-old. Like, I mean, like really, like a 20-year-old's gonna care about that stuff? No, he don't care. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. All right, Miss Mitzi. I appreciate your call.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good evening. NWA is a good group. So yeah, and for the I don't know what's going on. Like I say, my fucking camera's dirty, and I start fooling with shit, and now I look all weird. So it is what it is. But like I said, there's some things and that Professor Trill sent in, and some of them are pictures. Some of them have a decent amount of reading on them, and I know there'll be a lot of women who say, "Well, not me," and I agree. That's probably not, hopefully, not most, but this is the mindset of a lot of the modern American women, and so you wonder why guys are doing what they're doing. Lady Tia, what's the motherfucking deal? So this woman says, "Stop disrespecting these women and asking them to marry you with these 1-carat rings. If you cannot afford a ring, 3 carats or better, approximately $3,500, you cannot afford a wife. It's bigger than being materialistic. It's about being able to see with your third eye. It's about being able to read in between the lines. Marriage is a business, whether y'all like it or not." Right. Well, we're not even gonna get into that. Disney mess y'all heads up with the happily ever after phrase. You cannot start a business without some type of financial backing. What can we do for each other? If you don't have enough money to spend on an inanimate object such as a ring, you're not ready to be investing in a business, i.e. a marriage. Get back to work. So my thing is this. One, who got the happily ever after? The fucking Disney princesses, not men. So that's fucking stupid. Two, was being able to determine what a business is have to do with your third eye, reading in between the lines. But marriage is a business. Marriage is definitely a business. And the man is the fucking customer. So he's the one losing money for the most part. And like I say, it's just it's really terrible. Like, and it's extremely selfish. Talking about it's bigger than being materialistic. Like, what does it matter if it's 1 carat, 3 carats? It's about the symbol itself. So again, it's just about how much she wants to be able to try to hopefully stun on somebody else. But this one I found very interesting that he shared. Um, this is from a woman. I find this intriguing. So many people had something to say about me paying my husband's car off and paying off all my husband's credit cards. But when I posted how he upgraded my ring twice, people thought that was sweet. When when he used to pay all of the bills by himself, again, that was cool. But because I'm a woman, he shouldn't accept any money from me. We don't have gender roles in our marriage. We take care of each other as a team. If he wanted the last $5 I had, he wouldn't even have to ask me for it. Okay? This is why a lot of women can't find a good man. Y'all want to take, but have nothing to give but sex and headaches. My husband held both of us down before I even had a bank account. So this ain't the first or last time that I will be spoiling my husband. Now, I find that extremely interesting. So those two things, I'd love to know your thoughts on those two. And actually, there's another one. It says toxic masculinity is a phrase used by manipulative women to make men bow down to their desires and preferences. At this point, you're not buying her what she wants is toxic masculinity because you're using currency to deny her what she wants, knowing that patriarchy is made in your favor. And I agree with that. Only one line should post none of your business. So it is odd. Like I said, to me, if the size of the ring to you determines whether or not something's going to work out, well, you've already lost. You know what I'm saying? You're already game over for you. And if any man that is seeking that from a woman, you might as well call her a rap. And I mean, I don't care if you have it or not. If she can't appreciate you for the decisions that you make, I don't care if it's just a fucking band, and she has an issue with that, then obviously it's going to be problematic. Because again, there's no okay, well, we'll start off with this and go down from here. It's always going to be more. It's never going to be okay, well, that was enough, that was good. Again, and so when you get involved with women like that, and especially if they think you have those kind of resources and things in there, and if she's not contributing anything, it's going to be a constant problem. And if you're not satisfying her materialistic needs, your love is never going to be enough. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
You got Professor Trill, Honcho.
Professor Trill, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I have no complaints.
Yes, mother. Misty. Just stop, Misty, please. First of all, this is one of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
When somebody from the outside decides to make their feelings known about something that had absolutely nothing to do with them. Misty, just mind your own business. Stay out of it. Let John and the other dude handle it. They'll be fine. They both grown. The dude is 20 years old. He can speak for himself. He don't need you to stand up for him. If he's not willing to stand up for himself, then obviously he didn't deem he was worth saying nothing about. So why you just felt so passionate or felt just this undying need to come in and start some shit that didn't even need to be started. So I don't know. I don't know, Mister. Just mind your business. This is what's wrong with a lot of your people of like minds. You start to get in other folks' business, do nothing but make yourself look dumb or you get yourself hurt. So just don't do it. Don't let that shit get you all riled up. Okay? Please don't. Just stop it. About the topic. Whew. I find it funny sometimes how women don't like when a man tell them what they're supposed to be doing. But yet when we talk about what is manhood, we get a lot of women calling in and telling us what we're supposed to be doing. How would you know what a man's supposed to do when you don't even know what the fuck you supposed to do? That's the question. And I do agree that when you get into a marriage, that it turns into a business thing. But a real relationship, or I shouldn't say real, an old-fashioned relationship is not a partnership. Partnership is not an accurate description. It's more of a symbiotic relationship. Whatever needs to be done, one of you two got to do it. Period. Ain't no partners, because partners, they will have perfectly assigned roles, which in a perfect relationship, that's what you do. But if something happens to one of those partners, the other person's got to take over. You can't just hire somebody else to come in and fix it. It's on y'all two. You two supposedly become one. So you got to figure out your part and her part. This is not rocket science. Everybody wants everything to be even, but it's not really even, is it? It's really not. Women see it as being even, but it's not even, especially for the dude. We're doing the majority of the shit. We just don't get to say nothing about it. We don't get to complain about it to where we get some gratitude, because then we basically look soft. Like we whining and complaining. So we can't whine and complain about what it is we doing that the other person ain't doing. We just have to suck it up and keep pushing.
Okay, I agree with that.
So it's like this. Ladies, I feel for you. I really do. Because a lot of you don't get it, and you probably won't get it until it's too late, and that's extremely unfortunate. And a lot of men don't know and won't get it, probably ever. They'll probably die not knowing what a man really is supposed to be. But more than anything, a man has to have integrity. More than anything else. Integrity, it branches off into everything else a man is supposed to be. Is he honest? Is he trustworthy? All that matters. Is he a person that you should respect? Is he a person worthy of respect? That matters. Because ladies, if you don't respect your man, you can't love him like you're supposed to. You just can't, and you're not going to.
Correct.
So, I know a few people in that situation to where their significant others don't treat them the way that they feel they should be treated. They get taken advantage of, and they're very, very underappreciated. And this is a man we're talking about.
Do you think a man can change that?
Absolutely. He got to, for lack of a better phrase, man the fuck up. Because see, in this, I'm just speaking in this particular relationship, there's a lot of emotion coming from this dude. So he reacts to everything that's said and done emotionally instead of thinking about it rationally and logically. And instead of asking a bunch of questions and trying to get a certain answer or trying to figure shit out, in my opinion, and I gave him this advice, just say what you have to say, but mean that shit. And not only do you mean it, abide by it. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're not going to do something, don't fucking do it. Don't go back on your word, because she's not going to respect you because of that. I said, if you say no, this is not what we doing, that's it. She might not like it. She may disagree. But if you are to be the man of the house, it has to work that way. Now, you can't sit up here and say that the man is the head of the household, but then you get to make all the decisions.
Correct.
How does that work? I'm at a loss with that. But I get it, women. All y'all really want is to be heard. You want the man to take your ideas into consideration. That's really all you want. Now, if he always goes against your ideas, of course I can see how that become a problem for you. I get it. But maybe you're not the best person to make the decision. Maybe there's a certain situation where he's not the best person to make the decision. But if he never, and I mean never, comes to you on decisions that he know he don't have no business making, there's a problem there. That man has too big of an ego. So I'm not advocating for men just to run rampant and do what the fuck they want and women just to follow. Nah. It's kind of like what Miss Bell said. There's certain limitations on shit that you should be willing to take and not take. So it's give and take in every relationship.
Okay. Yeah, I think you got trade-offs. You definitely have to. You got to figure those things out. And you got to, like you said, you got to know what you're willing to give, what you're willing to not, and you got to stand on that. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Shelley, you're right. A lot of men are starting to let that responsibility go and let the women have it. But ladies, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Y'all not built for that. Y'all just not. Because, again, y'all tend to react more emotionally than logically. But if the man is reacting emotionally to everything that's going on, it's going to be a problem. Because a woman's going to feel like that's her space. Remember I told y'all about the yin and the yang? When he starts to bleed over into the yang, she's going to have a problem with that. And vice versa. So you have to choose your partner accordingly. Because to women it's a partnership. To men, we know it. We know different.
Yes, I would agree with that. But you accept it, But you got to make sure it's worthwhile. You got to make sure you choose the right one. That's why I think men, you must be much more careful in your choices than women have to be. Because I think men have much more to lose. And I'm not even just talking about, financially or anything like that. I think you deal with a lot more if you make a bad choice.
Yes. And the only reason I would agree with you, because I was going to disagree with you, but it's the fact that just by her saying a certain thing can fuck your whole life up,
Correct.
Whether it's true or not.
Correct.
She could just make a false claim, and even if it if it turns out to be false, she won't face no repercussions.
None.
But you'll still pay a penalty,
Correct.
Whether it's true or not.
And the crazy thing about
because you won't get vindicated properly.
Yeah, because the crazy thing about that, like you said, you won't get. Because if it's negative, it'll spread like wildfire. But when people take time to figure out to correct what's true, nobody gives a damn. Oh, it's not juicy gossip anymore. Oh, that didn't happen. Oh, okay. Oh well. And so the majority of people who find those things out, they don't even go to find out if they don't follow up on things like that. And so it's a lot of people who still believe a lot of negative shit about people, and it's not true. So it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and I found out something, or I heard something recently that I thought was pretty telling. Says women are in control of the sex part, right?
Correct.
They get to control when the sex happens, because sex won't happen unless she's willing. Because they know we always willing. If we're physically capable, I should say, because Ashley had a little thing. But anyway, men are control of the relationship status, because we get to decide whether we're in a committed relationship or not, or we're getting married or not, because we're the one that does the proposal. Now you have to say yes or no, true. But I have to ask. If I don't ask, it never happens.
Correct.
So we're control of the relationship status. And that's why women do everything they can to ask us what's on our mind so they know what status they actually hold in our life. So I thought that was quite interesting.
I agree. Yeah, they do definitely, drop lots of hints and things of that nature. Some of them are a bit more blatant than others.
Oh, Miss Bougie. You only wish that was true.
That's what I love to do, because I know certain topics are going to go a certain way, and especially when certain people call in, it's always very intriguing. Because I know, depending on who's in the chat, who's not, the responses is you definitely know how certain things are going to be responded to. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to, y'all know when I sneeze, I don't sneeze on camera. Okay. 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 All right. Any other thoughts? Anything else? Where did you come across some of those things that you said? I find those very interesting.
Just everywhere. I be all over the place. I don't really have like one specific source where I get a lot of shit. It's just people send shit to me, or I run across it on different websites, different people's pages, different YouTube channels. I just listen. I do a lot of listening, and that's why I pick up on all this shit. And even though I'm sure some ladies in the chat disagree with probably some of the things I said, the men know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. And that's all that matters. Because ladies, you ain't gonna never get it. You ain't gonna never understand it. And I don't expect you to.
It's true. It's true. I mean, you just got certain things you're only gonna see from a certain perspective. And
Yes.
certain things you only experience when certain expectations are placed on you. So,
That is correct. And about the intruder breaking in thing, Boozy, just to frame this for you, just really quick, and I'm just going to use this one particular scenario, okay? The woman's job in that instance is to protect the children. The man's job in that instance is to protect everybody.
correct.
You see the difference? There's a difference.
It's true. This is absolutely true. But I'll make sure the sneezes stay a part of the show. I'll just blank out the camera. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. And again, because in reality, it all sounds good, right? But say that bump in the night happens, and your man reaches over and tells you, "Baby, go see what that was." It's game over. Instantly, it's game over for any kind of slight respect you may have had for him, or whatever, because you're going to look at him like this. Well, he's willing to put me in danger over himself, and you're not going to have that level of respect, because again, like we talked about being a protector, providing all those other things, but a protector is it's up there with providing. You're not going to respect that man in no way. So we sit here and say, it's equal, it's this, and the third. But if that exchange happened, as opposed to you maybe hearing something telling your husband get up and go check it out, or your man, whoever, go get up and go check it out, there's no loss of respect there. You know what I'm saying? The relationship stays completely intact because it's what's expected to do. But if that man told you that, you would immediately question everything you knew about it.
True. And Miss Bell, just so you do understand this, because I could speak on this from experience. You may not perceive your son to be the man of your house, but if he's anything like I think he is, he's gonna fill in the role without actually saying anything, because that's what good sons do. They help their mom out. It's just that simple. Now, he ain't trying to be your husband or nothing, but he ain't gonna let you do certain things, especially when he's around. Now, if he's not around, you know what I'm saying, you gotta handle your business. It is what it is. But if he's at your house, there's certain things that he's going to do without letting you do. And he's not gonna make a big fuss. He's just gonna do it. And you're gonna be like, "Oh no, son, I could have done that." And he's gonna be like, "Nah, ma, I got it." So don't put up a fight. If they'll just let him do him. But that's all I got, unless somebody else call in.
All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate the call, Professor Trill, and thank you for the image. I'll try to post them up before the stream is over so everybody else can see some of the other ones. But I found those very, very interesting.
All right, on the next stream that we both know what we're talking about, you got to play that game for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I couldn't quite get one. I came close though, but I couldn't quite get one. But I'm very close.
Oh yeah, I definitely got to make sure, fellas in the den. If you're an active guy in the den, make sure y'all hit me. We're gonna play a game, and it's a game for the fellas, ladies. We love y'all, but y'all wouldn't understand it. So, men in the den, if you want in on the game, make sure you send an email to denshowlive@gmail, and we'll kind of clue you in on what's happening, and we'll make sure we can play this before we take this hiatus.
Yeah, and don't expose the game, fellas. Don't show the ladies what it is.
Man, if you do,
don't ruin it.
Man, we're gonna know exactly what type of nigga. If you expose the game, you one of them niggas that'll say, "Well, you let him hit. Well, what about me?" You one of them kind of niggas.
Fact.
If you expose, you a whole ass nigga. If you expose the game, so we just gonna put that stipulation up front. So there's that. Y'all can get your own games.
So DeMarcus and Broderick can't be trusted, right?
Yeah, DeMarcus definitely gonna get there. DeMarcus is a crow. DeMarcus definitely he gonna tell female pimp about the game and give us some pistachios. So
man,
type of nigga
Broderick gonna tell his boo, fuck out of here. Bullshit, goddamn boo. But anyway, I'm out. Holla.
That's a bit Professor Trill.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's a very interesting game. It's a very interesting game. I need to tweak it a little bit. It could actually be. Oh my God! Yeah, I might need to fix the game a little bit, because if it went. If it goes the way I meant, it would be fucking hilarious, because nobody would definitely understand what's going on. What you mean, bro? I ain't saying nothing. I co-sign on DeMarcus. DeMarcus is definitely a questionable character. I ain't got no issue with Broderick, except for he team pancakes. Outside of that, I ain't got no issue with Broderick. What's the motherfucking deal, man? We are calling into the den this evening.
Honcho?
Yes.
What are you up to, bro?
I'm chilling. This is Mr. M?
This is Mr. M.
Mr. M. What's on your mind?
Bro, I just don't understand why everybody is tying manhood into relationships.
No, because it's the same thing that happened with when we talked about women, and then it started turning into wife stuff. It's just how things naturally tend to lean. But
everything just immediately turns into like how you are a man in a relationship instead of like manhood in general.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Because it should start way before you're ever in a relationship. It should start with how your dad raised you.
I agree.
Right, like don't you think like a man starts like as a teenager and then grows up and then eventually ends up in a relationship?
Yeah, I agree, and that's what I say. When I started with the monologue early, like I said, that as far as the women who raise men, there has to be some type of male role model in their life for them to truly become men, or there's some type of male that they look up to. Even though women can do a great job of taking care of everything else, I feel like there has to be a male role model to push them to a certain aspect of being a man.
See, and I just jumped in when that crazy lady who always has something to say was talking about manhood. I don't even know why she was on the phone.
Great. I have no comment.
But I heard Trill's call. And I mean, I get it. Like Trill makes really good points sometimes. It's just weird. Like it always turns into a relationship thing with that dude. Like if you're a man in your household, like, but what about when you're a teenager and your dad is like telling you, hey, you need to go like do your chores, go mow the lawn, go help your grandparents, go like be a positive force in your community.
Like I say, because I think it started out that way, but then we had like a couple of calls, and I think a couple of calls start focusing more so on the relationship aspects, and then so I think that's kind of where we got to now, and so I think this is kind of where
it always ends up that way in the den, right? It always ends up like
we call it the relationship.
It turns into like, well, when I was a kid, or in my relationship, this dude did it. Did you ever notice that Shelly is like the female version of Trill?
Shelly Long?
Huh?
You said Shelly Long?
Yeah, she's like the exact opposite and female version of Trill. The same person.
I don't know. Well, I guess you're saying
the same person with opposite beliefs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because none of her beliefs make any sense.
No, but bro, I don't know. I just think like manhood is a weird thing, right? Like it should be super simple, but people make it way harder than it is. If you're just loyal and moral, then you should have no problems in life.
I agree with that.
And if you teach your child that, you teach your son that, you stick around to teach your son that, then there's no problems. And then the other weird part about it is if you find like a good man or a dude who has like strong morals or values, he's usually picking a woman with strong morals or values.
Has like strong morals or values. That makes sense. Yeah.
Rarely do you see like two super like you usually don't see like a really good dude with some like straight skank. And vice versa. You don't usually see like some ratchet ass chick or some like really great chick with some dude in prison. Like usually you see ratchet chicks with dudes in prison.
Oh, yeah, usually, yeah. there's always a few, but yeah, usually, yeah, I would agree with that.
There's the exceptions and not the rules, but I don't know. I just feel like manhood starts way before you ever even thinking about relationships. It's just like how you interact. For me, it starts when you're a teenager and how you treat your grandparents and like your elders, and then it grows from there.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that.
But do you think that do you feel like only dudes that have a father in their life could be strong male figures?
Like I said, I don't think it just has to be a father, but it has to be a father figure. So, like I say, if dad's not in there, uncle steps in, or if it's grandpa or a coach.
Do you think a female can provide that? Is what I'm saying.
No, I do not.
Ever, no scenario where that happens.
Like I say, there's always the exceptions, but I don't think I've ever seen it. The only one that I would say, and again, his dad was in his life till he passed away, would be like Lamar Jackson's mom. Because she got out there and actually, like, instead of being the mom that was just sitting in the stands, go son, go, she like actually got out there and practiced with him. She got out there and ran with him, and like she actually pushed him. That's something I thought was a real weird story, because I thought she was just one of those kind of overly possessive moms. But she like she actually did the things.
Took over both roles.
Yeah, she actually did that. I've seen a lot of chicks go, oh, mom and dad, I root for my son, but she actually got out there and got with him, strapped on pads, and like took over from where his father left off. So I'll see, in that aspect, I'll give it to him.
See, it's just maybe because I have a very limited life experience in relationships. You know what I mean? Like I've been with my wife since we were in high school, and I see how my kids are getting raised. And in all reality, like I know I have a certain role in my home, and my wife has a certain role in our home. But like when I'm not here and I'm at work and my wife is home with my kids, I mean, she takes on the same roles that I take on when I get home. Like the kids have to get disciplined when I'm not here.
Correct.
Like they can't just run crazy. Like the ultimate consequence is like, I'm gonna call your dad. But like she still takes on that same role, you know what I mean? Like when I'm not around and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just feel it's weird when you like when manhood or how you should be as a man is completely tied into relationships instead of just like your upbringing and your morals as a young person.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, because that's what it is. We're talking about manhood. We're talking about the man himself and not him in a partnership or whatever it may be. So I could definitely understand that. I think there's different phases
and I
to where
missed the
those roles
beginning.
go.
What's your idea of a man? Like, is it just a dude who takes care of his family? Is it the dude who's honest?
I had my little list of words that I associated with it. Let me pull it back out. Like I said, I felt he's a protector, a provider, a leader, an instructor, a conqueror. You know, he should be dominant. He should be a procreator and a father. And so, you know, all of those, I mean, don't just tie to a relationship. But I think that, you know, even if it's, you know, your family, whatever it is, you know, before you get there, I mean, you should be wanting to protect your name, you know, whatever it may be, your legacy or however you want to look at it. So, but I think ultimately it does tie up into a relationship when you get into that, and if you become the head of household, I think those are all key things to have a successful position as head of household.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, when I ask you, like, what do you feel like a man is, it immediately goes back to your household, your wife, and your kid.
Because I think ultimately, you know, that's what it becomes. I mean, because if you have nothing to...
Wait, hold on. Can you be a man without a family?
Yeah, I can, but I don't think you have the same purpose in life.
But it's just weird because, well, and again, I got in super late. Mm-hmm. But the only people that I heard talk were either women or dudes without wives and kids. Mm-hmm. Talking about what you feel isn't like a fully fulfilled man, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think that, I mean, again, you could have a different purpose, but I think ultimately, and again, that's why, because we're hardwired that way, I think, you know, man's purpose is to procreate. And again, I was against it I don't want to say against it. My big issue was like the world we live in, and I have issues with a lot of the stuff that's taking place, and it's just like, you know, why bring kids into this fucking crazy environment? But it is what it is. You're still hardwired to want to do it. But I think ultimately you have to have like a bigger purpose, and sometimes I think that is carrying on your name or carrying on your legacy or whatever else it may be. But you know, I think that ultimately the role for the man is to always step to the forefront. I mean, you've got a lot of guys who are men who, you know, joined the army at a young age, and, you know, they may have lost their lives in battle, but I wouldn't say they're any less of a man for not having a family or a relationship or anything like that. I just think, you know, ultimately the end game is going to be, you know, to carry on your legacy. You have a family you made or whatever. And I mean, some people just, you know, like I say, a lot of times this year, you know, in this day and age, a lot of guys aren't even with the shit because the selection pool isn't as good as it used to be.
You mean there's not good women out there? Is that what you're saying?
Not very many.
Bro, how does it always come back to like women or shit?
I mean, it's just, you know, this is the natural. It's like gravity. It's gonna bring you right back down to where it goes. But no, and again, like I say,
this is just the den.
Yeah, it's pool water's murky. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bro, do you and Toxic talk outside of the den? Because you guys have the exact same views in life.
No, I've chopped it up with Toxic slightly about something, but not necessarily got too deep in any other conversation.
Bro, you two have like identical views in pretty much all aspects of life.
Toxic's a cool dude, though.
Because me and that dude will have 8-hour conversations about how our opinions differ on this subject, but you guys are like exactly in line with each other.
I'm telling you, man, and it's because, and that's why I say I love the den so much, because like I say, I again, maybe life is a cycle. Maybe things come full circle. Like the den, and you guys, man, y'all really made me realize a lot of stuff. And again, having just conversations with y'all about various things. And, you know, I've gone back to a lot of my beliefs from, you know, when I was younger, maybe a little bit more in religion. I'm not saying I'm religious now, but I see things differently. But I look at, you know, what my standards were, the way I thought about things, and I kind of apply some of those things now. And I'm just like, man, especially being a single dude, just looking around and just seeing what's out there. It's like I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of like I don't want to say disappointed, but it could be my fault for waiting so late and just not catching somebody early and just be working on it from then. But just looking at what it is now and the selection that's made, it's just like, man, I don't know, man. I might have missed the train. So,
Bro, but it's the same thing. Like I have, so two things. And then I'm gonna get off the phone. The first thing is like, well, my grandfather taught me a couple things that I value today, and manhood was to me one of the things that he taught me. And I mean, it's a lot simpler than what everybody makes it out to be. And his was just to leave a positive impact in your community, regardless of what that be. Whether it's kids, whatever it is, just leave a positive impact on your community. So no matter if you have kids, you don't have kids, you're married, you're not married, just make sure when you leave this place a better place than when you got here. So I try and carry that on and try and teach my son that, and I want that to be my lasting legacy in my community. Like, people care too much about like what happens in YouTube streams and on social media. I don't give a shit really what people in Chicago think about what happens in my small town in New Mexico. I care what my neighbor thinks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to leave a positive aspect or a positive feeling in my immediate community's favor. Like, I want it to be a positive thing when they think about me. And the second thing is, bro, you're like, people out here are looking for a unicorn. Like, people want like this chick who's like the most attractive chick that they've ever seen, who is super submissive but is strong and independent, who cooks and cleans but goes to work and makes like real money. Like, you have to pick what's important to you in life. You know what I mean? Like, is it important to you for your woman to stay home and hold down your household? Well, you might have to give up a couple other things. You know what I mean? Like, there's some aspects in life that she's probably not going to be great at. But you're never going to find a unicorn, bro.
No, but the thing is, I'm not here to look for a unicorn. And again, like, the things that I find attractive or the things that I like is generally like against society's view of the most beautiful woman in the world. Like, I like natural real. I don't want all the extra excess and all that. I can appreciate a woman for what she does. If she's the homemaker kind of type, then we can work with that. If she wants to be a go-getter and builds an empire, I can work with that. Like, I think I'm a pretty malleable person. Like, I can work with a lot of things, but it's just the way I see a lot of women represent themselves. Like, we're all marketing ourselves one way or another. When you put yourself out there, you're marketing like yourself. And I can say the same thing to me if I go out in a t-shirt and some jeans and some fucking, little suit, whatever. And so I may look like a real whatever casual dude. I could look like a fucking, look like a fucking millennial or something. I don't fucking know what the fuck I look like. It doesn't really matter to me. But and so, I mean, I could be branding myself poorly, but just the way that I see a lot, it's like, I don't think I'm even interested in that. And so it's like, because to me, the way you put yourself out there is the way it's a sign of something more. And so, like I say, it's just, I don't know, man, I'm out of there. And then, like I say, with the situation with, there's just a lot of little nuance into it, because this would turn into a whole different conversation. It has nothing to do with manhood. But to me, it's just, like I say, it's rough out there. You made the right decision,
bro, and that's what I mean. Like, I get what you're saying, but if dudes are like, if you really stop blaming anybody else, like, you stop saying, oh, there's no women aren't shit, there's no good women out there, all these women are hoes, and you just start doing like good for yourself and good for others around you, like, you'll find a good chick. Like, that's not going to attract negative women, right?
Oh no, she'll find you, because negative women will find it too. That there's an advantage. There's a come up there. Let me go ahead and.
No, for sure, but you have to be able to decide, or be able to like look around and be like, hey, that chick slept with 6 of my homies. She's probably not somebody I should mess with.
Correct.
But how many, bro? Be honest with everybody. How many times have you given a good woman a shot that you didn't find immediately attractive?
I've had good women in my life. I will say that. In all of my long-term situations, I think that I've had good women in my life. Whether I was in the right
So
frame of
you were the
mind.
problem?
Yeah, I would say I was a problem. I would definitely say I was a problem. Like, and that's why I would always say that I'm probably a better friend than a boyfriend at a certain point. Because like I said, I was yeah, I was reckless. Did a lot of shit that ultimately I wouldn't do now, and I haven't done in years. But definitely a lot of my prior relationships were definitely my fault, and I did a lot of shit I probably shouldn't have done.
That you've learned from now.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that. I've definitely learned.
But like you just recently ended a relationship, right?
Yeah, but that was my fault, but for a different reason. And like I say, and that's kind of where when I the Sunday show, I explained it a little bit, but like I say, it's just because of the other baggage that I have, and it had me, and that's why I say even with the manhood thing, like I say, this situation is preventing me from being able to be the man that I need to be, and so that's why it's time for me to go, get that cleared out, because I'm not living up to my full potential, and I know this. And again, a lot of this is coming from like the conversations that we have in the den. It's just like I have these things, I listen to these things, I go back and listen to them, or I just think about things that are said, and like I say, you know what, the more I try to avoid the situation, the more I'm hindering myself. So, if I'm going to be the man I'm supposed to be, whatever next relationship I get in, for me to be that guy or that partner, even just for me, for myself as as an individual, like I have to
Just to be a
clear the
man.
cobwebs, yeah, and everything else will fall in line. I'm just talking shit right now. Again, I think I've been very fortunate, very blessed in my life with a lot of things. So I'm sure, like I said, another chick will come along and we'll make it work one way or another. If not, then there's other fish in the sea. I'll keep fishing around.
Bro, there's like 7 chicks in here that want to go start a like commune with you, so you're fine.
Well, there's just some rules to the commune, but we'll see how that works.
Just get your shit handled and then go start your cult, bro.
Oh man, that would be on
Well,
fucking unsolved mysteries or some shit.
bro, I'm glad you learned from your past mistakes, and I'm glad you're changing shit, but I'm gonna get out of here and let somebody else call. I just wanted to give my 2 cents, and everybody that I heard calling was single giving relationship advice.
Okay. Well, Mr. Big M, I appreciate your call, man. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us. It's always good to hear from you, man.
All right, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, even though I know it's gonna go over, we'll take one last call before we get ready to wrap it up. But yeah, man, like I say, it's all of these things are important to me, because I'm telling you, just last situation, and now that I'm free and I have no baggage, but this is the time to handle up, and so that's why it's just, let's get it in. This should be interesting. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Bad and bougie.
Bad and bougie. How are you this evening, ma'am?
I am good. Trill, you need to just stop.
Well, why does Trill need to stop?
Because I want to know, is he married or does he have a girl or what? I want to know.
Professor Trill, if you would like to answer that, I can't speak for the gentleman.
Okay, well, anyway, what I'd like to say is, brother, you got it like all wrong. First of all, the woman does not control the sex, the man does.
Absolutely not.
because we all know what we have to do to keep a good man, you know what I'm saying? And so that's not true. Like, we know, I don't like to get too blunt with my language or whatever, but you already know if you don't satisfy your man at home, then he's not going to be happy. So if you want to keep a happy man, then you know what you got to do. I'm going to just leave it at that. So
I think you said something interesting right there, though. But how many women in these days really care about keeping a happy man or keeping themselves happy?
If you want to be in a relationship, then you want to keep your man happy. That's not rocket science. That's what I'm saying. I think we overthink this and we think too much. You know, like we know, you know how to, you know what it. I hope
what you're saying makes sense. What you're saying makes complete sense. That's how it should be. But I think that there is a new wave of woman, and they don't have that belief. They feel like once they get everything sewed up, it's all about them from that point forward. I don't think
and then that's when your man is not happy, and that's when he's, you know, doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. So I'll give you an example of my life. A few weeks back, I was joking with my husband, and I was like, okay, keep acting up, and I ain't gonna give you none. And he was like we laying in bed, he literally like turned over and looked at me, and he was like, don't play with me like that. So, and I mean, I knew, you know what I'm saying? We know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't play with me on that. So, I mean, I think as women, we should, hopefully we all know that. So that's wrong. The men control the sex. The women do not control the sex. Well, what else did he say that was way off? The whole intruder thing. Okay, that goes without saying that you're going to protect your kids. But what I was saying is, hell no, the man needs to handle the intruder. There's no way that I'm taking any, or I should have to take any part in handling any type of intruder. That's just ridiculous. You know, that's not something, just like he ain't playing with what he wants, I'm not playing with what I want. I'm not checking, I'm not looking, I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah, and I agree with
and
that.
Then, no, go ahead.
No, but what we're saying is that I think earlier, you know, we were talking about equality and certain levels of respect and how certain things change. And so we were saying that this is why that a man holds a certain position in a relationship, because when it comes down to having to take the risk or endure bodily harm or whatever could possibly happen, it's the man's job to step and you know, either shield his woman or protect her, whatever it may be. It's his job to go check on that. If somebody was to jump out on you in the street, it's his job to step in front of you know, any harm, because if he was to jump behind you, like you said, you're not going to deal with it, you would look at him completely. Could you respect your man the same way if somebody jumped out in the street, either, I won't say with a knife or with a gun or whatever, even if to fight, whatever it may be, and he jumped behind you and pushed you into the situation, would you ever be to look at your man the same?
No, I wouldn't. Okay. I probably wouldn't be around.
Okay, but you wouldn't be judged at all if you were to do that. You know, if you were to jump behind him, do you think that he would look at you any differently?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that you know, just like the simple things, like you get out the car and you walking down the sidewalk. If you got a real man beside you, he gonna put you on the inside. So anything come up, it goes to him first. It goes even down to sleeping in the bed together. A real man's gonna be by the door, and you're gonna be behind him. If he got you sleeping by the door, like, what type of nigga are you? Like, why am I by the door of the bedroom? So it, you know, it's all that. And two, I think it was Miss Bell, your son will play the man of the house if there's no man of the house. And I have a real life example. Like, for example, when my sons were really little, from the time they were born till the time they were about 10, my ex-husband was playing football. So he wouldn't be home a lot. And my sons were stepped up, like, in their little ways. They would be like, oh, mommy, is the door locked? Is this? I'll sleep in here with you. Or either I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and they be at the bottom of my bed trying to, you know, be a protector to me. So I think that a son who's raised in the right way will always, if his mom, you know what I'm saying, is single, will step up to be the man of that house. And there's nothing wrong with that. When I got a divorce, when my sons would come home from college, they would come to my house because they wouldn't want me to be alone, because they felt like, meanwhile, they didn't know I had a whole nigga, no, just joking. But you know what I'm saying? So it's nothing wrong with if you have a son trying to be your protector, or, you know what I'm saying, be there for you. It's not saying that you're less than a woman or anything like that. But I think that's like a son's natural role. That's what he's gonna want to do. Sons want to protect their moms, So that's just I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
But as far as being a head of the household, I think it's nothing wrong with being submissive. It's nothing wrong with being obedient to a certain extent. But I do feel like in my situation, definitely, I work, I have my own, accomplishments, and I do okay. But my husband is definitely the breadwinner of the family, but he does not just go off doing a whole lot of stuff without saying, because he respects my opinion. So he asks me stuff like, what do you think about this? You know what? I think I'm going to invest in this, or I'm going to do this. What do you think? Not just doing stuff and I don't know nothing about what's going on, or you know what I'm saying? So I think that if you're in a relationship, the man can still be the head of the household, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to ask you your opinion or respect you because of your, goal achievements or whatever, and be like, I want to ask my baby what she think about this because she knows me better than anybody. So I want to ask her how she feels about this. Not saying I'm making this decision for him, but he definitely runs stuff past me. Now, some things, no, he doesn't. Like, for example, I'm looking to buy a new car, and I really like Range Rovers. I've had 3. And he's like, no, we're not going to do another Range Rover. Like, first of all, you have no kids at home. You don't need a big-ass truck. And, the repairs, and you're not one to keep taking the car back. And so, so look at some other stuff you like. And I respect his opinion on that because I don't like repairs and I don't like upkeep and I don't, I'll be like, babe, take the car. I think it needs a tune-up. Like, I'm not the type of person to do that kind of stuff. And when you drive, especially, I don't know, you guys, I don't know. But anyway, Range Rovers are really, you have to really do a lot of upkeep. So, on that, I was like, all right, babe. He was like, pick something else you want. You get something else, but we're not going to do the Range Rover thing again. So I was like, all right. So, I mean, on certain things, yes, he's going to take the forefront and he's just going to put his foot down and say yay or nay. And I have to respect that. But on a lot of things, he's going to ask my opinion. And a lot of times he does go the way that I like. I say that I want to go. Now, sometimes he doesn't. But because of what he's done in life, I trust his decision. So I have no problem with, you know what I'm saying, him saying, okay, well, yeah, okay, babe, I hear you, but I'm going to go ahead and roll with this. I don't have a problem with that because I'm happy with the decisions that he makes and what, he's done with our lives. So I trust him completely with my life, so I don't have a problem with him agreeing with me or disagreeing with me, but I am happy that he does ask my opinion.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. So, is there anything else you'd like to add to that, Ms. Baden Bougie?
No, just Trill. Like, seriously, I think we need another head-to-head talk on the phone. Could you be?
Uh-oh. Yeah, sounds like we're gonna have to get a den folk debate in before we go on hiatus.
What? Don't you have a debate night or something? Because I need to get him back over. Because I forgot it was some other things I disagreed with too, but I can't remember what they are right now. But a lot of people, like the young man said that was just on the call, a lot of these people saying this stuff have never really had a successful long-term relationship, yet you got all this advice. So that I find funny. And that's something my grandmother used to always tell me, don't take no advice from nobody that
I'm telling you, people do that all the time. You get in fucking relationship advice from people who have never, who don't have, like, I mean, it's just, I find that so odd that people do that shit. You got to know who you're talking to. you know. And if you're getting advice, you married, you're getting advice from a relationship from a single person or somebody who can't keep a partner or whatever it is, I definitely think that that's a bad way to go. It's going to end up in detriment for you.
Yeah, like I have a friend that she's so like she's definitely she has 3 State Farm offices. She's done really well in life, but she can't keep a man, or she finds a man that she always has to take care of, which to me is the biggest disgrace ever. Like he's always in school and he's always trying to do something but ain't did nothing, and he always but then she want to tell me, oh, don't take that. Girl, bye. Like, what you talking about? You keep picking up these niggas in medical school and they 45 and they in this. Girl, don't try to tell me what to do with my situation over here. I've been consistently married since I was 18 years old. I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, if you got the experience, you got the knowledge.
Yeah, I know how to keep a man happy. But anyway, I hope Trill is still in the house. But yeah, we got to have another head-to-head because you on one. You be getting carried away.
We gonna make it happen. Like I said, 'cause tomorrow we got karaoke night, so maybe sometime this weekend before everything gets. I got to see what I got going this weekend. We might be able to throw a special den in before we go on hiatus. So.
Why are you going on hiatus? I must have missed it. I've been gone.
Yeah, go if you get a chance. Watch the episode from Sunday, the stream Sunday. It says these are my confessions, and after I talk about probably about the first 15-20 minutes of it, I talk about everything that's going on, and so it'll definitely update you to everything.
All right. Well, nice talking to you again.
All right, Miss Bambushi, as always, Girl 6. It's a pleasure to hear from you, and like I said, we'll try to make that happen soon.
Okay, bye.
All right, have a good evening. All right. As y'all know, it's that time to wind it down. We hit the 2-hour mark, but I appreciate everybody who's called in. I appreciate everybody who shared their story, shared their thoughts. Man up, what's the motherfucking deal? But I'm finna get ready to call it a wrap. Like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you. Tomorrow we'll do another karaoke night tomorrow. So know what y'all gonna sing, what y'all got going on. It was very enjoyable. I think that's a good note. Like I said, the last couple of dinners that we're gonna have for a bit. I think that's a good note to it was a fun night. So I gotta get ready to wrap it. I gotta slide and take care of something real quick. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I thank y'all. Holler at me tomorrow. We got one person, one gentleman who emailed. He has the game now. I won't say who it is, but remember, gentlemen, if y'all want to be a part of the game, make sure you send an email to denshowlive@gmail and just request the game. Don't be a hater and snitch on the game, but I'll send it to y'all and y'all will see what it is. But with that being said, I'm trying to produce, man. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Again, my honor, my privilege, but most of all, more than anything, man, it's my pleasure to get to chop it up with you guys each and every night. Who knows what the future holds, but I'm feeling good about everything. And shout out, man, so many of y'all, man. Man, thank y'all. If you know what I'm talking about, if we have conversated via email recently, thank you. That's all I can say, man. Is thank you. And so whenever this is all cleared up and said and done, sky's the fucking limit. I'm talking about it's y'all don't understand how eager I am. Like I say, it's not a fortunate thing to look forward to, but man, y'all haven't seen anybody so eager to go head first in this thing. Like I said, hopefully everything is look, I say conversating. I wear Converse and I conversate. All right. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man, and just sincerely, man. Like I mean, some of y'all, man, just y'all got me inspired to definitely to fucking run through a wall, man. Like I'm so ready, but we'll see what happens. I'm trying to produce again. Y'all ain't got to go home, but I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. Thank you. Good luck and good night.